Hello, and welcome to the first video review for CinemaBurger. Movie reviews from a different perspective. Since this is my 100th review, I thought I'd do an actual video review instead of just written out. So today we're here to talk about the movie 365 Days or 365 Deny. Now, warning, this review will contain spoilers and will also contain language not suitable for children. So if you haven't seen the movie or have kids who want to watch this, don't. Okay, continue. So this movie was trending on Netflix. It was in the top 10. And I heard, oh, it makes 50 Shades of Grey look like it's child's play. So of course I checked it out, had to watch it. And there's a lot to unravel there. So let's begin. We have our two main characters, Massimo and Laura. Massimo is part of a crime family who witnesses his father get killed. So, he's kind of alone now. And then Laura, she's in the business world and she gets neglected by her boyfriend, so she's sexually repressed also. So the beginning, they show both of them. They show like parallel camera angles. They show them going to work alone, coming home alone. They're both ruthless in the business world. So yeah. So now in the opening scene, Massimo is going on a plane somewhere and all of a sudden, he just goes in the back and there's a flight attendant there and she just starts blowing him. And it's like really bad softcore like scenes where she's like this and it's already ridiculous. And Laura she goes home and like touches herself because her boyfriend doesn't want to touch her. He's too busy doing something. So Laura's boyfriend they go somewhere. It's her birthday. It's Laura's birthday. They go some country. I forget where. And Massimo also happens to be there. So Laura goes off by herself because her boyfriend is not paying attention to her or whatever. And then Massimo sees her and he's like lost. He's like, "Are you lost, baby girl?" And it's really creepy. So Laura just walks away. So it's the next day, and Laura's fed up with her boyfriend. So she dumps him, and she's fed up. So she goes off alone, and then Laura gets kidnapped by Massimo. She wakes up, and she's in his house. There's a picture of Laura in her house, which is already creepy, and Laura's confused, so Massimo explains what's going on. So Massimo says, "My father was killed, and the last time, and I got shot too, the father was shot, and it went through the father, the bullet, and hit Massimo. So while he was shot, his life flashed before his eyes, and he remembers seeing Laura at an airport 5 years ago, and that was the last time, I guess, Massimo was happy, so he's like, I want happiness, so I want you in my life, so I guess I'll kidnap you." You know, it's a logical response. So, and apparently Laura's boyfriend was cheating, and Massimo found out because he was stalking her, of course. So he writes a letter leaves a little note like, "I ran off, I'm dumping you," so that way no one suspects that she's gone and it's not weird. So they're in Massimo's apartment. Laura is trying to escape and Massimo explains what's going on. He explains all that, and then he says, "I'm going to give you a year to fall in love with me, and I won't touch you without your permission," even though he does several times, but we'll get to that later, don't worry. So Laura tries to escape the first time, and she she runs outside and sees Massimo is a mob boss and she's shooting somebody. So she's like, what the hell's going on? So in a later scene, Massimo is still like touching her, even though he said that he won't. And he keeps like bossing Laura around. Now Massimo explains that the person he killed was trafficking children, so he hates trafficking children, yet he kidnaps a girl. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. So now it's interesting, on the second viewing of this movie, and they were talking about in the movie that the thing about giving Laura 365 days to fall in love, that Zeus did that to another Greek god. He kidnapped the Greek god and said, you have a year to fall in love with me. So I'm like, that's a little interesting, I guess. Creepy to do in real life, but, you know, interesting from Greek mythology. So Massimo takes Laura on a shopping spree so he can make her comfortable. And Laura escapes for the second time. I'm like, okay, you're trying to escape a lot. That's good, because he kidnapped you. He kidnapped you. And that's bad, obviously. So Laura, after they get the dresses and stuff, Laura says, I'll go to dinner with you, because Massimo asks him to have dinner with her if you give me my phone and laptop back. So that way she can hopefully call the police or something, try to escape again. So Massimo throughout the movie keeps getting texts from a woman named Anna. I guess maybe it's a former lover or something. And that comes into play later too. Massimo tells Laura, it's like, I want to learn to be gentle. I'm like, well, stop touching Laura then, if you want to be gentle. Like, you say you won't touch her without your permission, yet you keep doing it over and over and over again. So stop it. So when, after dinner, Laura gets her phone and laptop back, so she calls her mom to say nothing's wrong, but you don't try to tell her, hey, I'm kidnapped, help me. You just say, oh, I'm fine. I'm like, what's wrong? Like, you're trying to escape. Get out, bitch, get out. Sorry, I didn't mean to use that word. It's like, get out. So the next morning after dinner, Laura wakes up with Massimo, and they're in the same bed, which is really creepy still. Like, yeah, Massimo wants to fall in love with Laura, but, like, give her some space. Or, you know, don't kidnap her. Like, just don't kidnap her. So Laura kind of is playing games with Massimo a bit. Like, she kind of eggs him on. She's kind of, like, flirting with him to, like, piss him off. But it makes him want her more, so I don't see the point of that. So Laura gets in the shower. She just takes off her clothes and just stands in the shower. It's one of those weird open showers that rich people have only. But you don't want to worry about getting water on the floor, but that's not an issue here. So they're both just standing naked in the shower, trying to, like, seduce each other, but not at the same time. And Laura is just kind of looking at Massimo, and you pretty much see his dick. I mean, so at least there's something for everybody. So Massimo walks up closer to her and is like kind of touching her again, and Laura, like, kind of walks away, and because she's kind of in control a bit, because she's, like, egging him on and stuff. But at this point, like, you're both saying there, just like, punch him in the dick and leave, like, escape. You only tried twice, like, he kidnapped you, like, run. So, like, yeah, like, punch him in the dick and leave. It's simple, but whatever. I guess she's too admired by the size of it. So Massimo literally, like, puts Laura in this device where her legs are, like, spread out. So Massimo's like, I want you to see what you're missing. So Laura's attached to this device, and Massimo says you if you try to struggle, your legs will widen more. I'm like, that's basically rape. So he put her in a rape device, but you want to fall in love with her. Okay. So back to Massimo says to Laura, you're going to see what you're missing. So some woman walks in. It kind of looks like the flight attendant from the earlier scene that gave him a blowjob. So she comes in and starts blowing him again, or if it's a different person, it's hard to tell. But he's just getting a blowjob in front of Laura. It's supposed to, I guess, turn her on. Because, she's so sexually repressed. But this is almost rape. But, he's hot, so it's okay, I guess. So after one or two more scenes of them kind of like flirting with each other, after that bed scene, Massimo's like, oh, we're going to a club, be ready. So they go to this club. I guess Massimo has business to do, and Laura kind of goes off by herself, and this other guy starts hitting on her and tries to rape her, basically. And Massimo saves her. He almost shoots the guy, but he gets her out of that situation. But he's like, what's wrong with you? Why did you do that? You almost got raped. And it's not her fault she almost got raped. People shouldn't try to rape other people. Don't blame the woman. Don't blame the person getting raped. You blame the person doing the raping. But that's a bigger problem too. So and when they're leaving, Laura's like, I need a shower. So she kind of walks into a fountain all of a sudden and just jumps in to be annoying to Massimo, whatever. So after a lot of this kind of flirtation and almost attempted rape too, they're on Massimo and Laura on a boat in the sea, and I guess Laura is kind of she's kind of egging him on again, but this time it's for real. And then Massimo's like, don't play with me, and Laura's like, I'm not. And then she starts blowing him, and then then a big sex scene. This is the biggest sex scene in the movie, and it's ridiculous because they're on this boat, so they start having sex in one spot, and then there's a montage of them having sex in different positions on the places on the boat. But does that mean did they have sex, stop, get up, go to a different spot on the boat, and then continue to have sex? That's ridiculous. I mean, there's a lot of movies with sex scene montages, but just think about that. You're having sex, you feel the need to get up, go to a different spot in the boat, and then continue to have sex, whatever. Let's say it's sex more than once. So then after that whole montage, it's like the tone changes of the movie immediately. Because now it's like they're in love now. I guess Massimo has a magic penis that made her forget everything and fall in love. In Superman 2, when Superman kisses Lois and makes her forget that he's Clark Kent also. But, so this is where really the tones and the messages being sent out are really bad, because it's glorifying kidnapping and Stockholm Syndrome, because she's basically in love with him, which is what he wanted. But, it's like Beauty and the Beast. You fall in love with your captor. Except, and he tries to rape you at least once. He kidnapped you. Every time she's, not trying to escape, remember, he kidnapped you. And at this point, Massimo lets Laura go back to Poland for a bit to see her friends and family. Now, at this point, you should still, call the police, escape. You're in your home country, escape. But, magic penis, you forgot everything, so it's fine, I guess. Now, Laura meets up with the friend. Her friend is the only like smart one in this movie because she's like, no, he kidnapped you. This is, I don't care if you love him. He kidnapped you. This is wrong. And now it's only been apparently 2 months, this whole up to now, and she fell in love with him in 2 months. I mean, you only tried to escape twice. Like, I get it, you're like sexually repressed and lonely and your boyfriend cheated on you, but this is not healthy. This is like if, in like Taken, if the daughter fell in love with the kidnappers. It's the same thing. And oh yeah, Laura's also pregnant, by the way. You know, with all the sex scenes on that boat, it's gonna happen, I guess. So, and now basically the movie's a romantic comedy. There's like wedding plans and montages, and it's completely inappropriate. Now, throughout the movie, Massimo has been the head of this crime family now that his father's dead, and the other like person in the group, the other person in the crime family, they're like, you should worry about the crime stuff and not Laura. And the businessman, puts a hit out on Laura. So, but then tries to stop it at the end. So it gets very intense for all purposes. Where they're on the way to the wedding, and they're gonna go through a tunnel. The guy who puts a hit out on Laura goes to tell Massimo, like, wait. At the same time, Massimo's trying to call Laura, but they're in a tunnel and they can't get reception. So they keep flashing back to Massimo, Laura, and then the car that Laura's in goes into the tunnel, and then it just fades to black, and that's it. So, now I looked it up. This is a series of 3 books. It was written in 2018, so it seems like it was made to cash in on the 50 Shades phenomenon. But this is worse than 50 Shades because the guy kidnaps her, almost rapes her, and she just like falls in love with him after 2 months. This is not a good message to be sending out. You shouldn't glorify these types of things. Like, just because you're repressed doesn't mean you should be kidnapped and forced to love somebody. Now, in the same sense, like, you think about, oh, only women feel like, oh, it's not right, but in the same sense, like, no one should be an object. Like, they're trying to glorify, oh, if a guy has a lot of girls, it's cool, but if a woman doesn't, she's a whore, but that's not right either. It's like in think about it, in Weird Science, the 2 guys create the girl just to have sex with, just to be an object, which is wrong too. But anyway, yeah, so I found myself laughing at scenes because it was kind of unintentionally funny, but it shouldn't be because he kidnaps the girl and he almost rapes her. And he touches her many times without her permission, even though he says he won't. And then after 2 months, she just falls in love with him because, magic penis. Don't forget the magic penis. All right, so how are we going to rate this movie? That's tough because while it can be unintentionally funny, the messages it's sending out are incredibly, incredibly inappropriate for anybody. So I gotta give this 1 burger. Sorry, 1 burger. Because while the cinematography is fine, everything else is horribly wrong and inappropriate. But I guess check it out for the cinematography and to realize what not to do when you want to meet a woman. Don't kidnap her. So yeah, that's 365 days. It's quite a ride. It's on Netflix right now. So we'll see how this goes. I might do more video reviews in the future. I'm still doing Netflix original movies this month of June, and then July will be I'm going to do summer blockbusters, so stay tuned for that. I've been Scott Burger, and this is CinemaBurger. See you later.